Hello, dear viewers. Today, I'm going to share with you a captivating story that takes us into the world of magic and mystery. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the tale of a farmer and his encounter with magical beings. The story of Akachi the farmer and the fairies. One day, a farmer named Akachi was searching for the perfect piece of land to transform into a field where he could plant corn and potatoes. After some time, he discovered a beautiful spot near a large forest, a place inhabited by fairies. Excited, he started preparing the land for farming. Akachi took out his large knife and began cutting down the trees. But as soon as he touched one, he heard a voice asking, "Who is cutting down the trees?" Startled and frightened, Akachi realized that the voice must belong to one of the fairies. He answered, "I am Akachi, and I've come to prepare this land for farming." Luckily, all the fairies were kind-hearted, and they decided to help him cut down the trees. Akachi was overjoyed when he saw that the trees had been felled so quickly and with very little effort. That evening, Akachi returned home, feeling extremely happy, and kept the secret of the fairies and the field from his wife. At the beginning of the new month, Akachi went back to the field to burn the dried trees. As soon as he began striking the trunk of one of the trees, the question came again, "Who is striking the tree trunk?" Without hesitation, he answered, "It's me, Akachi. I've come to burn the trees." In response, the fairies burned all the dried trees, and in no time, the field was cleared. The same thing happened the next day. Akachi returned to chop the tree trunks into firewood and prepare the field for plowing. In no time at all, the bundles of firewood were ready. Akachi divided the field into two halves, one for corn and the other for potatoes. The fairies helped him greatly in all stages of preparation, from digging to sowing and planting. Throughout this period, Akachi managed to keep the secret of the fairies and the field from his wife and neighbors. The soil was carefully prepared, and Akachi would visit the site from time to time, congratulating himself on the fantastic harvest he would soon reap. One day, while the corn and potatoes were still green, Akachi's wife asked him about the location of the field, so she could go and gather some firewood. At first, the farmer refused to tell her the place, but she insisted and promised not to tell anyone about it. Akachi finally agreed, but on one condition. She was not to answer any questions asked while at the field. Though she didn't understand what he meant, she promised not to respond to any voices she might hear. When she arrived at the field, she was amazed at how beautiful the corn and potatoes were. She had never seen such wonderful crops before. The corn, though not yet ripe, was tempting, so she cut one of the ears. As she did, she heard a voice asking, "Who is trying to cut the corn?" Forgetting what her husband had told her, she replied, "And who dares to ask me such a question?" She then moved to the potato field and pulled out one of the potatoes. Once again, the voice asked, "Who is pulling up the potatoes?" She answered, "It's me, Akachi's wife. This is my husband's field, and I have the right to take whatever I want." At that moment, one of the fairies said, "Let's help Akachi's wife harvest the corn and potatoes." Before the woman could say a word, all the corn and potatoes were thrown to the ground, and the crops were ruined since they were still green. The farmer's wife cried bitterly, but it was no use. She returned home, unsure of how she would break the terrible news to her husband, so she decided to remain silent. The next day, the poor man happily made his way to the field, eager to see how everything was progressing. You can imagine his anger and despair when he saw his field completely destroyed. All his hard work and future plans were lost, all because his wife had forgotten her promise. And that's the story of Akachi, the farmer who learned a valuable lesson the hard way. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another tale. Thanks for watching.